Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we're live. Yay.
So
yeah, I was nice enough to get one from guys over in Europe. When they ran theirs, they used Cryodex out there, so they sent one to me. I was very happy of that.
Did you see the fact that we also got like system open prizes for Scum and Villainy? I couldn't be more happy right now. Like,
yeah, I still haven't gotten mine.
I mean, I got 2 IGs. I've got a Houndstooth. I've got the Mist Hunter, the Slave one, and the Punishing one. So,
from what I heard, the swag was really impressive this year. So,
I picked out all that stuff up too, and the 2.0 was good as well.
If it wasn't for them handing out the system open stuff, I didn't get anything other than the Darth Vader card. Now, I don't know if I missed anything or not. Is that all they gave out?
Well, for just the main event?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, the 2.0, we got Luke Skywalker, a couple other things, and some recruit tokens. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, guys. Oh,
Coach is here.
Still muted.
We can hear you.
Oh, now you can hear me. What's up?
What's up?
All right, he's on his way.
You a farmer?
Yeah.
I messaged him earlier. He said he wasn't home yet, so hopefully he gets there soon.
He's sick.
He's sick?
He got the flu.
More like he's got a date with Dallas Parker's wife's sister.
I got to make sure that okay, there's the new one right there. Right there. Liberty Squadron radio.
Well, look at you.
They were our new podcast that we did last week, and they decided that they would send me a shirt that needs to go on the wall. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Fuck you, Diyun. I think I got a better shirt collection than you do, buddy. He's just getting home. You got a fever. What the fuck? Got a fever. The only prescription is more pharma. I need more pharma.
Yeah, the guy from the new podcast that I played against was Bobby Crowley from Goon Squad podcast.
Goon Squad podcast. Well, you know what? We don't fucking accept anybody that's not on X-Wing Podcast Central Facebook page. So,
correct.
I made contact with the St. Louis groups.
What?
There's just a pair.
What did you say?
I said I made contact with the St. Louis group. I never hear anything from St. Louis. And apparently there's 2 groups down the squadron, which is on the Illinois side of the Mississippi, and then the St. Louis group. And he said, oh, yeah, we're really getting active down here. And I said, well, get me information and we'll put it out there to let everybody know.
Yes, you should.
Also, we're becoming big in Peru now, as in South America.
Woo!
Well, donde está?
I don't have enough Tecate to celebrate.
I think we both fucked up on that area of the region.
Yeah, I think so too.
Everybody got show notes? Everybody good?
Go for that.
What show notes?
Oh, fuck. Oh.
I'm just kidding, Coach.
I suppose I should scroll up and
actually technically, I don't care if you have show notes. The fuck? These are for me and me only. And everyone knows that. Everyone who listens to this show knows that these are only for me. Whatever you guys say, I don't care.
Oh, God, he printed them out, so I can't even screw with them on the fly.
Nope.
I have fun with it anyways.
I've done due diligence. I have my set of notes up.
Oh, he made a view only. I can't even edit it. Oh, what a monster.
Monster. I do want to let everyone know that I'm going to start referring to this as the OCX Studios, and hopefully in the next couple of months that I've been watching a lot of podcasts, a lot of vidcasts or whatever, and man, does this suck. So my idea, check this out, guys. Check this out. My idea is to have a camera focused on me with like a full-fledged fucking desk, and then I'm gonna have a TV with you schlubs on it, as if, you know, we're gonna make this into a late-night TV show.
Okay.
It's gonna be fantastic.
I hope he starts drinking soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently, Bruno doesn't consider this real beer.
I don't
He's
really
from Canada, so
I mean,
what?
at least it's not Bud Light. So it could be worse.
I tried to argue with him, and I lost because I didn't care anymore. But
Well, I tried arguing with him.
how did you on top, right?
No.
Oh,
But I believe they said we had like the highest scoring match they've had yet, and also the closest match they've had yet.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's fucking Zach Matthews again.
Yep.
Oh, whatever. The guy doesn't even play X-Wing anymore, so who cares?
I was I was also pretty drunk for it, so
Well, that's true fashion. I mean, I don't think he would have allowed you on the air if you weren't.
there was like a whole section where I like could have stolen like a whole point, and yeah, I was too drunk to remember what Zach had like just immediately said before me. So when I got the other half of the question right, I didn't remember what the first half of the answer was, even though it was just said.
No, Jerry, it's not water beer. It's real beer. Fuck off. I listened to the ABV. Is that alcohol blood value? Is that what you're going with?
Alcohol by volume.
Alcohol by volume. Okay, because we go by
alcohol blood volume. I like
we
it.
go by not. Oh my god, dude! No, we're changing that fucking picture, dude. That's
What the
bad.
hell is that?
Oh, sorry.
That's
my work.
Ryan
You
Farmer's.
have to change.
That's Ryan
that.
Farmer's Ken doll.
Sorry, that's my work
Oh!
email. It's my work email. Fuck you.
That's the picture. Oh, it's the picture they scanned for his Star Wars action figure. Oh my god! Can we actually do that? Can we find a company that does X-Wing podcast action figures?
I mean, you can get action figures made of people, but I mean, it's probably
All right.
Didn't you see that episode of Big Fit Theory where the action figures were just awful?
You get out there
What?
and modem mark.
What did you just say? I don't understand the words that were coming out of your mouth.
You might have to turn your video off, Mark. I think it's messing with
Or
your
lower your
connection.
settings or something, man. I don't know. There we go. That's better.
Go fuck yourself.
That's better.
Oh, we love you, Farmer.
Jesus. Well, we figured out what scan picture we're going to use for your X-Wing podcast action figure. So.
I can just give you some sexy photos if you really want some.
Ooh.
Oh, I have some sexy photos of you.
Farmer, you need to crank up your volume.
Check.
A
little bit more.
Check.
You got to deal with me, buddy. Come on.
Check.
Yeah,
check.
he's like obnoxiously loud, like double
You
the
gotta
decibels.
come on.
Check,
give me
check,
it
check,
all.
check.
Give me it all.
Check.
Let's go. Let's Ricky this bitch all the way. Let's redline it.
Check.
There
we go. That's better.
That's literally boosted as much as it can go.
Okay, you can take it back a little bit, but not much. Like you're sounding pretty good right now.
Check.
Whatever. I guess nobody will hear you on this wonderful.
Do you need
show.
me to record on my end?
Yep. We're recording everyone, so I'm hitting record on my Audacity.
Those levels are gonna fuck up my Pro Tools. That's okay. I'll figure it out. It's fine.
Coach, is this better?
It'll be fine.
Your internet's just straight the fucked up, Mark. I don't know. We've learned to live with it.
I restarted my Audacity. You don't need the last 13 minutes, I don't think.
No, we do not. Everyone have their Audacity started or some sort of recording properties?
Give me another 2 minutes. It's still loading.
Oh my God, 2 minutes. Fuck Pro Tools. Jesus Christ. It's Pro Tools.
This is the shitty Pro Tools. We haven't bought a new one yet.
That's why I gave up on Pro
This
Tools.
is the amateur tool.
Bullshit.
We can make action figures out of potatoes.
Oh my God. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to do that weird stalker potato thing?
Yeah.
That happened to the Fosses?
Well, apparently Kyle's not playing X-Wing anymore, so he has a lot of time on his hands. So yeah, he probably should do that.
I'm going to send you guys stalker potato mails.
That's pretty creepy there, Sloot.
So,
Game changer.
you know, I let you be on the show tonight.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very gracious of me.
It was very nice of you.
But
continue.
You know, we're whoring out your big event.
Yes, you are.
Which, as of now, the wife still has not said no.
That's good.
But I am totally going to be that walk in the door like, oh, hey, is this where we register?
I mean, if you want a late reg, we'll have late reg. But if you don't do it before the 14th, you won't get the binder and the coin. I mean, maybe you will. I'm
important enough. I'll probably get the binder.
I'll probably make sure you get the binder and the coin. I'll try. I'll try my best.
But there's a couple of stipulations I need to know before we do this.
Okay, what are the stipulations, my friend?
One, is there a X-Wing wives trip scheduled?
There's not. Do you want me to make another group for that?
I feel like Esther should start the X-Wing wives group.
Oh my gosh.
For all the wives that are literally going only because it's going to LA.
Well, there's so much. There's so many amazing things to do for wives. Obviously the Getty is like my always recommendation. It's the best museum in the world. Well, in America. Sorry, not the world. America.
I'm going on more along the lines of like Rodeo Drive or shopping or
there's so much
money of mine.
I was expecting you to say they should all get in a room and pillow fight.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fully expecting that as well, but that's that's like you slip an extra $100 to D and he's like, Esther, Coach paid for the pillow fight. We need a pillow fight.
Oh no, they didn't give me sriracha. That's fine.
So all I'm wondering, and I'm just throwing it out there, if D's wife Esther is going to take on the whole the rest of the crowd, then I'm pretty sure your registration would go up a bit.
Let me talk to D about that.
That would be fantastic, because if there was like a shopping trip where they can spend their husband's money while they're playing X-Wing, I'm pretty sure you get a lot more people.
I agree. You're a pretty smart guy, Coach.
Don't say that. I'm just.
Isn't that all you needed, Farmer? More things to plan for this event?
Yeah,
no,
that is all I needed.
He's just passing us off to D. D
hasn't done shit for this event yet. All he's done is like,
damn.
We all knew it. Now it is on record. we all knew it. We just needed someone to say it.
But he is backloading all of his work, whereas Celia and I are front loading all of it.
Oh, say hi to Andrew for me.
I will. Absolutely.
He didn't come to Gencon. What the fuck?
He didn't.
Yeah, we totally did miss Andrew this year.
He was our first Mynock we ever met.
We love Andrew. He's great.
We love Andrew. Like
we love
Andrew. You guys, just because he was
probably
do. I will never forget the time where I was like, "Hey, Andrew, or are you Andrew?" And he's like, "Yes." I was like, "You have a shirt for me." He's like, "No, I don't."
Yeah, I remember this.
That yes is all of that is so Andrew.
No, D forgot to send the shirt.
I know that's so D.
And I texted
all of this is so like classic them. This is like this is in character for all of them.
He's like, I'm not giving
slightly like Andrew being slightly standoffish and like kind of like skeptical, and D just being negligent.
He's like, I'm not giving you the shirt off my back. And I was like, well, D said you have to. And he's like, I don't care what D says.
Oh, that's such an Andrew thing to say.
So I think
I would have given you my shirt off my back, Coach.
You weren't there.
I would have, though.
I know you would have. No, you wouldn't have. You didn't know nobody. We were scrubs back then. We were fucking weird ass Iowa boys.
But now you're somebody, and
now apparently I'm everybody.
Now he's a known scrub.
Now he's a known scrub.
Yeah. Accomplished that goal. Check. Be X-wing famous, but not good at X-wing. Got that one.
Yeah, well, I got cheated out of my top 64 game.
So yeah, what is this story? I was running today and listening to your podcast. I almost stumbled over myself hearing you bitch about judging.
All right. Now hold on. Time out. Should this be in the podcast or is this like viewership only?
No, this should not be in the podcast.
All right, viewership only. See, that's why you watch the fucking OCX radio podcast on Wednesday nights. For this shit right here.
Yeah, so my opponent, I think he's a stand-up guy, but it was just like there's a situation that happened that just a couple that left me really salty. And the first one was the first one was my shuttle's at 1 hull. His Miranda has no mods and is at range 1 of my shuttle, and my Inquisitor is at range 3 of his Miranda with a focus. And my Inquisitor fires at his Miranda, strips the shields, and puts a damage on her. I spend the focus and change a focus result. Then his Miranda immediately fires at my shuttle that only has 1 hull, rolls 3 dice, blanks out. Okay, and that's the last shot of the round. Pick up dials. And then he goes and says, hey, did you spend that focus token on the Inquisitor? And I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, if I had known you spent that, I would have fired at Inquisitor. Because I had forgotten to take the token off. It was at the bottom of the board. And I said, well, the game state's changed. You fired at the shuttle. I'm sorry. And he said, well, it was an illegal game state before then. So we call a judge over, and the judge rules that he can fire at my Inquisitor instead, and that lets him regen a shield. And I told him straight up, I was like, listen, dude, you know that you would have fired at the shuttle no matter what. And because you blanked out, you're trying to get a freebie to regen a shield. I know that even if the judge doesn't. And he didn't have a lot to say about that. And there were a couple other things that happened in the game I was a little salty about, but that was the big one.
Now, what was it? The difference between a regular shot and a TLT shot at the Inquisitor, or
it was a TLT shot at Inquisitor, but range 3. I might have still had Palp at the time too. I don't remember, but my Inquisitor still has 3. My shuttle's at 1 hull, my Inquisitor is totally full, and with he has no mods with Miranda. He's averaging 1.5 hits per roll, and I automatically get 1 with my auto thrusters.
Right.
Essentially. I don't know. It's that just feels abusive to me. That whole situation.
I mean, honestly, Kyle knows this one. Not now. Who? I'm not going to ask you who the judge was. Let's not go that crazy. But
I don't know. I don't know who it was. Honestly, don't. It was someone I hadn't seen before.
Okay, then I know who it was, and he fucked up. So Kyle knows. I dealt with this at Worlds with the same thing of you doing something and the opponent not realizing it.
Yes. Exactly.
And basically it amounts to one of those. Just coming up and saying, sorry, move on. But you wag my finger at you, farmer. You didn't do the right thing.
I'm pretty bad at clearing my tokens, in general.
So you probably would have gotten one of those meaningless warnings that never amounts to anything in any tournament ever.
I just figured
that's what it would have been.
I just figured that. I need to stop assuming. I was just assuming there's no way he's gonna fire the Inquisitor, and I just didn't even and this also I kind of forgot it was there because I spent it, and my Inquisitor was the very bottom of my board edge, and the token was right at the very bottom of my board edge. I don't make excuses. I should be keeping a clean game state, but I've just never had anyone do that before. And D said I should have said are you are you I mean,
There's no arguing with that, man.
Like, are you a jerk? Like, are you like an exploitive jerk, or are you just bad at X-wing?
Because
it's one or the other. It's just one or the other. Because like, if you're bad at X-wing, you don't fire at the shuttle there, and you like, I mean, if you're bad at X-wing, you don't take the range 1 on the shuttle. Like, I don't know.
If his entire goal was to regen a shield, he would have fired at the Inquisitor whether you had a focus or not.
Right.
But he didn't, and that's the thing. Like if he had killed my shuttle there, he wouldn't have said, "Oh wait, did that Inquisitor have a focus token?" And that's what feels super degenerate to me about the whole thing.
Right. I super agree. Like,
and then there was another
blanked out was a.
There's a situation at like the turn after where we measured an ion bomb to kill the shuttle with Sabine, and he measured to the shuttle, said, "I Sabine the shuttle." I removed the shuttle, and then, I picked up his bomb because Sabine's the last thing that happens when the shuttle's detonated. And then he said, "Well, we didn't measure to Vermeil." And I know just I'm about 90%. Like he might argue otherwise. I'm about 90%. My Vermeil is about a range 1.5 away from that bomb, but like you can't prove that or whatever. And
right.
I had picked up his bomb. But like Sabine's the last thing that happens. Like if you wanted to measure, you measure everywhere before you Sabine. Like that's the whole thing. So that one's a little more like on the edge, like there, because I did pick up his bomb, but I had just figured that that was the end of it. And I mean, I just assumed it wasn't range 1. But that one's on me a little. Like that one's a little more half and half. But I do think that those two things really tilted the game in a way that I might have been able to pull it out at the end.
Yeah, and in those situations, always call the marshal.
I should have. Yeah,
those marshals, like FFG marshals, will forever go, well, the game state got all screwed up. Just play it as it is. That is like the most infuriating thing to hear sometimes, but that's usually how they go.
You know what? You guys just kind of brought up a good topic that maybe we should talk about tonight. I don't know.
Well, listen,
we got a jam-packed episode tonight.
I know we have a jam-packed episode, but that's a really good fucking topic.
I'm so non-confrontational, like in general. Like
I know.
Jaren and D are savage,
but
like super savage, and I usually give a lot of my players the benefit of the doubt on that situation, and I'm just too nice. I should have gone up the chain to the marshal every single time, but I just didn't.
Yeah, I understand that. You need somebody like Luke Carrington following you around.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you do not. No. Oh my God, I wish that on no one. All right. Maybe I'm gonna shelve that question for another day when Farmer's back on the show.
I just don't want to call anyone out like super publicly.
Oh, fucking dude, this is what OCX is about.
Coach, read the chat. Read the chat. Read the chat. Read the fucking chat, Coach.
Get fucking hard, Farmer. Get hard.
Read the chat.
I would read the chat
in the Hangouts. Read the Hangouts chat.
We're starting the show. God damn it.
Okay, when should I start recording?
Now. We've all been recording.
Oh, geez.
Get fucked, Montana.
All right, I'm gonna make it. I'll make it peak for you, Montana. Here, clap on 3 with me.
No, hold on. Let me give him on my. Okay, Montana. I'm at 13:30. Write that down.
Coach, is this any better?
Yes,
that's much better.
It is better. Montana, you got 13:30 down.
What is that down for exactly?
It's me. It's when we're gonna do the snaps.
Yeah, it's worse.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
everybody's been recording except for Farmer, which go figure. Fucking noob.
Yeah, I'm a noob.
Whatever. No, I don't blame you. You're not used to live. That's cool. I mean, it does take.
Oh, I have missed the Farmer passive aggression. I've missed it. Fucking love you, Farmer.
All right.
I love you too, Chico. I wish you had been there. You wouldn't have fucked me.
Do you have your
somebody slooping over top of you, right? I'm still sorry.
No, dude, that call was legit if that was the way it happened, because that's what happens in X-Wing. Fucking A. Sometimes a Falcon fits right in the middle of an entire squad.
Oh, dude, I had that experience in the world.
No, it doesn't.
Shut up, Mark. All right. Ryan, are you recording?
I am. We are good to go, guys.
All right. We're going to do 3, 2, 1 snaps. It's not going to be that fast, but I've gotten better, so it's gonna be. We'll just go with it, right?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. There we go. That was pretty good.
Yep.
See, I've gotten better at my job. I should. Been doing this for a fucking year and a half, I think.
Coach, I wish I could just I wish I was rich so I could just spend like a month with you. You may not want a month with me, but I would want a month with you.
Hey,
I'm not sure you do.
If you want a break from reality, I've got a bedroom downstairs. Nobody's using. You got a full downstairs basement. All you got to do is play with my kids every once in a while, and you can enjoy what Northwest Iowa is like. Because
maybe when I get a raise in a couple of years and I'm a big wig at Disney, I can come over there for a little bit.
there you go.
That'd be awesome.
You know what? It was brought up a very interesting question. I know this is very off topic, and we just snapped, and we're gonna go with it. But it was on Gen Con. They're like, dude, what do you like about America? I was like, wow, that's a super loaded fucking question. And I was like, because I knew what side they leaned forward to, and I was like, oh, I don't want to really make an argument out of this whole thing. I was like, I'll tell you what. I've lived in a lot of very big metropolis places, and I would not pass up Northwest Iowa for anything in the fucking world. And they went, fair. I was like, love where I live.
I grew up in a mountain town. I'm from the sticks. Like I'm from the middle of nowhere.
You got small town blood run through you too. Yeah. So you know what it's like.
Like northern New York, right?
Yeah, super like basically Montreal. That's how north I am.
Yep. Well, ooh. So you got a little bit of Canadian in you, but that's all right.
I got a little French Canadian in me, which I'm really salty about because I fucking hate French Canadians.
Basically,
sorry,
Bruno
sorry,
over
Bruno.
there.
Oh God, Bruno. Oh.
Sorry, Bruno, but maybe if they tipped better, they'd be or tipped at all.
You know what? You know what we're gonna do during the commercial break? If Farmer holds on that long, I know you're a little under the weather and everything. So
it's probably why I'm not being as wholesome as I usually am. My filter's been reduced just a bit by my fever.
I want Ryan Farmer to do the plug for OCX Radio for Millennium Condor.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. That would be
You
great.
want a wholesome podcast? Every time OCX goes to the restaurant, they make sure that they have one check and they tip extra. Listen, OCX Radio coming to a
Canadian brothel near you.
I was hoping someone would pick that up, but
it was a massage parlor.
So
the massage parlor.
Before we get into the really good stuff, this is
I love
also
you,
a exclusive online YouTube thing. Farmer says, "Hey, can I whore myself out on OCX Radio this week?" I go,
Yep.
"Man, you don't know how long I've wanted to use the word brothel in
There you
the
go.
OCX Radio Live title." So,
I'm glad you guys are the first. Trying to do a big podcast tour, and you guys were first on my list. Like, I really want to make sure I got on here first.
Hell yeah.
oh shit! Well, now is that because we're recording on Wednesday?
No. You guys are the ones that are most gracious and open to like having me on the cast, which I really appreciate. Like, I really do.
We're the vacation spot for all podcasters.
Did you see?
I have to
the dilly-dilly?
apologize. I almost got you onto Millennium Condor because if I had won, I was gonna challenge Mynock.
Nice.
Okay.
I failed.
One
real
more
quick. Did you guys see the dilly dilly I put on in Dion's car? He didn't notice till right when we were leaving.
Yeah, his angry face was.
It was so good. We're at the airport. We're leaving. We had just hugged to say goodbye. He turns around and went, "Oh my god, I've been dilly dilly. Who did this?" And I was like, "Bye." It was there like the whole weekend too.
So I really hope it came off okay, but
if it's on leather or anything, it's fine. We just realized that there is still a sticker on the Indiana Convention Center from last year.
Nice.
Yes.
Nailed it.
That apparently nobody they tried to tear it off, and they just said fuck it. So it's still there. I do have a little bit of juicy goodness that I'm only sharing with the viewers right now and those in this room. And it's a Dion confession.
Oh.
So Dion
now
had a
from
tough
Coach
day.
Kroll.
Tough day. I want to go. I want to say Thursday. I think it was Thursday. It might have been Wednesday. I don't know. We all ended up at the Ram, and Dion texted me. He's like, "I need a beer. I need food. Where are you?" I was like, "Oh, we're at the Ram." And so we got to talk, and he's like, "You know, you guys are lucky as fuck." I'm like, "I know we are, just in life in general." But he says, "No. Literally the week before Chico was on OCX, I was going to text him and go, Chico, do you want to be on Gold Squadron?"
Correct. Poached. We got coaches Nick Saban over here just snagging up people.
I couldn't stop. I was crying laughing so hard in this bar.
I'm gonna be honest. Chico was on my short list when we lost Brad Miller too. If Dallas had said no,
Fucking A, people. I had like 3 months. I was whoring myself out to everyone.
I know, Chico, we love you. It's just
And then you stumbled into here.
You were no, he wasn't. He didn't stumble. He asked. I mean,
Dallas is Dallas.
No, leave it. Okay, when he left, he stumbled.
But let's just say that his options were limited. Oh. And that episode is, I'm sorry, that goes into the greatest OCX episode ever. Like,
that was amazing.
Holy shit. If you're ever going to go watch an OCX episode, Halloween Night, boys and girls, 2017. In the
I'm gonna
archive.
be Star-Lord for Halloween this year. I'm really excited for it. I'm gonna shave just like him. I have that jacket.
So I got all of my 1.0 cardboard dials, all that shit out.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I didn't have a box, but I had a really big bowl.
Is that what you do for Halloween?
So I'm thinking about giving 1.0 shit up for Halloween.
Oh my god! You got to at least tape it to candy bars, Coach. Come on.
Either that, or I'm gonna videotape me putting like a giant I'm gonna waste an entire gallon of milk and a big bowl and just, hey everyone, enjoy your X-Wing 1.0s. And like try to eat and swallow one bite. Like I don't know. I feel like I've paid that much money for it. It should be a part of me somehow, but I don't know.
You're just doing Dice Tower stuff now.
I don't even know what Dice Tower is.
Oh man, that is that is entirely accurate.
Beautiful.
Wait, I don't think we
All right,
started
we're gonna
recording
get this
the show
baby
yet.
started. Let's
Yeah.
go.
No,
We're going, baby. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, X-Wing. Hey, this is not a test. This is OCX Radio. Time to rock it from the Delta Pilot to the 4BZ. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the OCX Radio podcast, broadcasting from the OCX Studios in beautiful downtown Orange City, Iowa. My name is Aaron, the Coach Kroll. Joining with me today is none other than the one and only Chris Chico Brown.
I'm sorry, Coach. I have failed you all.
I really want to leave it at that, and let's just go.
Yep.
Let's just
You have done that yourself.
Yes.
Also with us today, 487 miles to my right, Uncle Mark Tippett.
Well, on to another tournament.
Classic
Played like
robot
normal,
Mark.
Never playing 1.0 again.
Man, that brings me back, Mark. That brings me back, buddy. Nobody understood what you said, so we're going to move right on to our favorite, bringing up the rear as always, Kyle, the game changer, Stews.
Munitions fail safe, saving my ass 2 times at Gencon again, baby.
You
Boom.
literally have like 40 some days left for that nickname to be adequate. After that, you go back to the Sloot, whichever one knows you buy. So
I'll buy Sloot merchandise.
Yes, you will.
many of you may recognize that beautiful baritone voice coming on the other end of the line. It is joining us all the way from LA, everyone's favorite Mynock, and I mean that seriously, Mr. Ryan Farmer.
Hello and welcome to the OCX Radio podcast, the best podcast in existence, confirmed.
Confirmed.
That was a Marshall ruling, confirmed.
basically just got a hard on because you said it in that whole thing. So
I just ordered a shirt that says "Hello and welcome everyone back again." I want to wear it at Worlds.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Out the nose?
That's beer all over my laptop. Oh, shit.
Hey, Coach, I got a question for you.
No, I need to wipe off shit right now. It's getting into the speakers.
What would you have done if they got rid of the deltas in second edition? Your entire intro would have been borked.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't deal with this right now. I'm trying to think of, was it not? I'm pretty sure you were the last person. No, that was Zach Matthews. That was the last one that made me spit beer all over my computer.
Do you want one of those hello and welcome shirts, Coach and Chico?
Don't worry. I'm wiping it off.
I'm still waiting for my Mynock shirt.
I know, dude. We got
my 2017 World Championship shirt.
I got fat, so mine doesn't fit me anymore. So
I'm still waiting for Coach to introduce Montana, who's on the show tonight.
Oh man, that's not even the show notes.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to introduce me.
Hey,
Quiet,
you
you can't
what?
talk. You haven't been introduced yet.
Yes. So hard for him to be quiet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all in for a treat tonight because it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen pretty much ever unless everyone else abandons me and it's just me. Then the one, the only, the superhero of the podcast, Mr. John Montana. Ladies and gentlemen.
Last resort, checking in.
I tell you what, nobody got a beard better than Montana.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does.
And he's editing live.
Wow.
Yeah, I pretty much have to.
Yeah, when you stay an entire 5 days at Gencon with a bunch of bearded gentlemen, and you're the one that sweeps the floor up on Sunday, you think that you slept in a house filled with little dogs because there's all these little...
Except the entire floor just looks like little pubes everywhere.
Oh, no.
I don't even want to think about what that floor looked like.
I swept up the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a wad of what unmentionables. Just
now you have to realize that we stayed in a house with at least 3 men who had hair down to their shoulders. So
not you though, Coach. You're smooth like D.
Tight and crop, baby.
That's right. You're the sexiest podcaster, Coach. That's also a confirmed fact.
That's not hard.
Whoa! You have hard from the Dion.
I mean, I tell you what, I was holding out hope for Jeremy Chambly. I was, because I've never seen an actual picture of Jeremy Chambly.
Podcast anymore, though. Like it doesn't.
Well, he traded and went over, but that's okay. But I finally met him in person at Gen Con, and I was like, it's in the bag.
Man,
podcast.
Listen, Jeremy has the sexiest voice in X-Wing. Next to Dion.
Oh no! I'm sorry. As much as we hate to admit it, Gordon the Worst has
oh my God,
the best radio voice.
Valid. He's also easy to manipulate, so there's that.
I also listened to the last OCX radio podcast by the 2.0 crew, which I want to give a huge shout out for.
Me.
Because my God. Oh, yes. And you. Yeah. Again, holy shit. I'm going to jump shout outs and just go right out to them. Again, I still don't know why they haven't absolutely taken over the show, and I get to just come on, whenever as a guest.
Role, right?
They do such a good job. There was so much funny shit in that last episode. It was awesome. It was a great one. If you guys want to listen to a excellent podcast, go listen to the OCX Radio 2.0 Gen Con edition. It was last week, but where I want to go now, what was I talking about? We're gonna go see how is everybody doing, like just a real brief rundown, like 2 seconds. Are you recovering from Gen Con? Are you missing that you didn't go out to Gen Con? Go. I'm gonna go left from right. So Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
I acknowledge the fact that I am suffering from post-Gen Con depression.
That's a real thing.
Post-traumatic Gen Con syndrome. So PTGCS. All right.
I mean, you just fart around with a bunch of people that want to drink beer, play board games, play X-Wing all week. I mean, let's be real. I felt like I was like in high school again with nothing better to do on like a summer day.
Adults.
Yeah, right? It's kind of like, let's just get drunk and play some games and then go here and drink some more and take some shots and bullshit. And yeah. And now it's like back to reality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty much.
Really miss it.
On over. Mark, how's your PTGSCS?
Are you sure you're wanting me to try this?
You cannot go through your 2 pages of notes right now. I want literally like, how are you feeling right now?
It's 8 pages, but who's counting?
Jesus
I'm doing well. I'm really looking into the 2.0 stuff. It's
Mark,
it's so good.
I'm gonna cut you off. I want to know what your reaction was when you saw the legit Uncle Mark Tippett fan club.
Oh,
Ryan,
God.
if you don't know what this is,
I do not.
there are 3 gentlemen. I believe it's 3.
Normal. Bloomington Normal. It's Matthew Evans, my minion, and Harold Larson, and Nick Mock, who got the shirts made, got one for himself. I know there are 4 out there. I don't know where the 4th one is.
So they legit made OCX blue T-shirts with a picture of Uncle Mark and his like, it's just his face. Uncle Mark's fan club on the front.
you weren't there when all of us surrounded him when he was playing his match at the end of the table, and we sent him our energy while his poor opponent watched the entire group go like this over Mark.
I highly doubt you did that over Mark.
But the best thing was that Chris Allen came up. He didn't want to be in the picture. That Ketch yelled to the crowd to come and get a picture with Uncle Mark, and twice. And Chris came up, and I said, he goes, I don't deserve to be in the picture. I said, here, look at this. And he put his head down and started to walk away. And I said, no, these are not the fans you want. These are the fans you need.
I think I was in that picture. At least I hope I was.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think you were not in the Uncle Mark fan club picture, but holy shit.
I had a good time. Really liked playing the 2.0. Enjoyed playing 1.0. I inversed my record. I still went 1-5, but the first win of the day was the guy didn't show up.
Oh, so you pulled a dunk in. Nice.
Oh, so me showing up late really fucked up everyone. That's what happened.
Anyway,
we'll get to that.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
It was a great time. I lost my shit when I saw those T-shirts, and I literally yelled across the entire room, "Mark, have you seen this shit?" And you just looked at me like I don't want to talk to you right now. It was great. Ryan, how was your Gencon experience?
Well, this is my first Gencon. I hadn't been there before. Sorry, I was chewing soup. I'm in the middle of.
No, I'm sorry. I love the fact that you said you were chewing soup. So
It's
California now. Like, I
in California, do you chew your soup?
It's pho, so it's kind of like soup and other stuff. Anyway,
It's called ramen.
So, that's right. Boom. So yeah, it was my first Gen Con, and it was amazing. It was really, really great. It was a little stressful, because I'm not used to having that many people there.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
It's just a lot. But I really enjoyed it overall on the weekend. I don't know if I'll go again just because it stressed me out so much. And I have limited vacation time and I'm going to Star Wars Celebration next year. But I will say everyone should go to Gen Con at least once if they like board games even a little bit.
You should also not catch a red eye after not sleeping at all. Like you were passed out.
Oh yeah.
Before.
Yeah, I was a walking zombie all weekend.
Yeah,
however, I did manage to make the cut, which was cool.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
And
Right.
sorry, what?
Ryan Con was 1977 at the Playboy Club at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
We heard
Fair.
1977 Playboy Club
Fair.
Geneva, and that was
I believe
it.
he was saying that was his
That was-
first Gen Con.
So yeah, I ended up making the cut, and I must admit something. I am kind of a bad person because we were for Hangar Bay. We were going to we had a pot of 8. We were just going to do a second edition Hangar Bay for fun, and I was the 8th person. Then I saw what the Hangar Bay prize was, which was a plastic full art Lando, which they didn't really announce to anyone, like Rebel Lando. And I bailed super hard and just got into the last spot of another pod with no one I recognized. And I proceeded to go 3-0 without even trying a club baby seals.
Oh, you just seal clubbed your way to the
Yes.
victory.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, you monster!
And two of those people were one. Okay, so the first guy was so super nice. However, he only owned a Resistance core set and Heroes of the Resistance, and he'd only played like 2 times, and he thought focuses worked. You spend a focus token to reroll focus results, and I had to explain. So I beat that guy without using palp, jam, missiles, or repositions because I didn't want to be too savage.
Oh my god! No, you can just stop right now. You don't need to explain the rest of the story.
Oh, wait, I got to give this.
You were a terrible person.
I just said I was.
No, I mean, you said it I'm a terrible person. No, fuck that. You are a terrible person.
And then because I left that group, they didn't get to do their 2.0 pod because everyone else bailed after I bailed. So everyone was pretty angry at me for that. But I did win the Lando, which was pretty great.
Oh, you greedy motherfucker.
That is the best story ever.
So I almost lost my second round, and this kid, he's 9 or something. But so I got to say the squad he had, I just have to, because this kid never plays in tournaments at all. I guess he only plays with his brother, but knows all the rules of the game. He was flying Imperial Cath with Kylo on and experimental interface, marksmanship, and marksmanship. So he could
Yep. Already number 1 in my book.
Yeah. So he could Kylo, experimental interface, marksmanship, and if you don't know Imperial Cath, no one does. If you cancel a crit, you take a stress.
Yep.
So you either take a stress or you take a Kylo, and immediately first round of engagement. Oh, and he had a fully loaded quick draw, like PS10, FCS.
Oh, nice.
And so first engagement of the game, my Inquisitor's at 1 hull and PS0. It was very bad, super bad. And then luckily, I actually got super fortunate. I threw a crit on Cath, which was a PS0, and I ended up winning the game only because he was a little inexperienced. I think he actually outflew me a little.
Fuck. Oh, you lucky fuck.
And you know what? That would have been the perfect end to 1.0.
Oh, that was karma coming for your ass big time.
And I try not to underestimate younger players because I play with Isaiah Brody, who's amazing. He made the cut. And Joe Desmond, when I first played him, I thought he was a little punk, and he still is, but he's a talented little punk.
Fair, yeah.
Fair, yeah.
So anyway, that was my Gen Con. I clubbed seals and was a bad person and was tired the whole time, but I had fun.
Chico, how was your Gen Con? Oh, nope. Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't go, but I got this thing while
I got that too.
Yeah, where's my camera? There we go. Crates on top. Jumpmaster 5K Memorial Run.
All right.
So little shout out to those guys for when my summer started, I started doing that running, and I tried to do it every day that I could, and it got to the point that when they started doing this, I did 7 days in a row of a 5K every single day. So while you guys were off doing Gen Con stuff, I was just running like a motherfucker, and it's done good things.
I'm gonna get the shame bell this week because I'm too sick to run.
Oh,
So-
well, I think they've gotten too lazy to do the shaming. I don't think have they put out an episode in 2 weeks?
Yeah,
They
they
don't really
just did
care.
one. They did a shame.
Are they just not posting it on
No,
Facebook?
they don't. They don't super care at all because it's the crates. Then they super don't care.
They've never cared about anything.
But
No.
just want to I'm going to sidetrack off Chico. I saw crates on top on this thing, and for some reason, I decided no, that's not going to happen. And I thought, well, I ran three years across country in high school. 3.1, that's a 5K. That's no problem. I ran it, I did it.
Proud of you. Are you on top?
And not going to do that again.
Coach, is it coach on top now?
It should be. I mean, I grossly underestimated how long it would take me to do, because back in high school I used to run a 4-minute 45-second mile average, and wow, did I get a lot of heat online for me running like an 11, a 12, and a 14-minute mile.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Happened. But in my case, I did have 2 whiskeys and ate a whole bunch of homemade Chinese before I was like, sure, fuck it. Let's go run 3.1 miles.
At least you're
How
not
hard can it
D,
be?
who walked his 5K in LAX and got a shirt.
Oh, that's bullshit. No, I took a video and I sent it on to the Carolina Craze. This is, I busted my ass. I want my shirt. Now, whether Chris Allen deems me worthy to have the shirt or not, I don't care or know, but all I know is my calves and my shins and my legs. There's a reason I'm sitting down right now, because
did we ask Montana about his Gen Con experience?
We're getting there.
We're
I was
getting there.
piggybacking off of
Doing my not Gen Con experience first.
Montana. How'd your Gen Con experience go? And keep in mind, everyone, this was his first Gen Con too.
Ooh.
Yeah, very exciting. It was pretty good. Mainly, I went to Gen Con to hang out with you guys. Just catch up with old friends and play some X-Wing. And yeah, so I accomplished all of my goals.
Aw.
And a few goals that were pretty high up there, we'll talk about later. I made it try.
It's gonna be all right. I'm just gonna go with this is my 6th year of Gen Con.
Wow,
and
nice.
This is probably my best year of Gen Con, because it would have been the best year, because I did what I wanted to do on every single day, except for Saturday. I had to leave for a wedding, which I'm not happy I had to leave, but I'm happy I made it at the wedding. They were happy that I made the wedding, so
I bet they were.
Was
it your wedding?
Makes up for it. They were happy I made it, so I was like, oh, okay. I would much rather be here, but whatever. It was. I wanted to be there for my friends, and I was there, and it was a great time. My wife got super drunk, and I love it when my wife gets super drunk, because that's the best. Not thinking like nothing went further than what you think, but she's just hilarious when she's drunk, because she turns into when she was in college, and it's just hilarious. But no, overall, man, just it was a very different Gen Con this year for me compared to last year. Last year we had a 3-month-old podcast. This year we had a year and 3-month-old podcast, and you could notice the difference. It was very weird.
Seeing all the shirts.
Yes, first of all the shirts. OCX was proud, man. We showed up big time.
OCX represent.
Yeah, we did. And also that it was the weirdness of like the people in the know, like the big wigs. I was apparently a part of the big wigs, and I wasn't prepared for that.
Coach, you're the biggest wig of all.
I was not prepared to be the biggest wig of all. But everyone who wanted to say hi to me, I was like, oh, I want to talk to you. Yeah. And I probably talked their ear off. They're like, okay, I got to go. Okay. It was nice talking to you. But it was a transition period. I guess it was nice to know that the podcast is working and it's doing what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I was able to talk to anyone I wanted to, and they could talk to me. It was just an awesome experience in the podcaster sense. I had a great fucking time. I hope everyone who wanted to talk to me got to talk to me. I don't think I turned anyone down. I was like, get out of my face. I don't have time for you. But it was fun. It was a great time. I'm looking forward to many Gen Cons in the future. And I think it was just overall, everyone had a great time. It It wasn't as busy as last year. I will say that, which was surprising. But man, that took a lot longer than I thought. So,
You know, Gen Con's a cool tournament, but you know what else is a cool tournament?
Fuck you, you motherfucker. You can't even let me set it up. Jesus Christ. Host to host, you just broke the goddamn rule. You know,
I was gonna say
I was there. I was like right there.
I was gonna say Worlds is a really cool
there.
tournament, Coach, and I can't wait to go to Worlds this year and see you again.
Fuck you. You were not gonna say that. I was right there. I had the intro and the setup. And you fucking ruined it.
I love
Go
you.
ahead. Tell everybody about the Mynock Squadron Open.
Okay. Please enter the brothel. The Mynock brothel. To your left, you'll see D. He's very expensive, and to your right, you'll see nothing.
You'll see Dallas, who's cowering in a corner, going, "Not for sale, not for sale."
Oh my God, that's exactly.
I'm married, not for sale.
And then in the other corner is Sealy going, "You can't afford me."
You can't afford.
That's Sealy.
It's just he's holding up a sign that says "You wish."
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're trying our best to get our word out on the Mynock Open because apparently I haven't done a sufficient job. Well, obviously, we've been pumping it out on our Facebook page and on our podcast, but we are trying to expand our horizons to let everyone, as many people around the country, know as possible that we're doing this event. To the best of our knowledge, other than Coruscant, this is going to be the first major second edition event. Which is November 3rd. So we're throwing it November 3rd in Burbank, California. First off, all the info you need is at mynockopen.com. We have an article that explains everything. Currently, if you're asking for like a specific venue, we have it narrowed down between 3 film studios, but the way film studios work we can't get a hard yes until a month before the event, but 100% it'll be within like 4 miles of Bob Hope Airport in Burbank. So if you're looking for hotels and whatnot, there's that. Day 1 will be in a film studio, which is really cool for people if they haven't been to California or never been in a film studio, which is essentially the same thing as a big empty warehouse, but still cool.
I'm gonna go with everyone who listens to this podcast has probably not been to LA.
Fair.
You're hitting the Midwest hard, buddy.
I know.
That's
I know.
What you're on here for.
First off, I have a request to anyone listening. If you could please post mynockopen.com in some of your local groups, that would really help because I don't have access to everyone's local groups. And that would just help get the word out and spread it. Like if you have if you have a game shop in your game shop's local group or something, like what's your store called, Coach?
OC Games and Comics.
Yeah. So like the OC Games and Comics group, like Facebook group.
But you've posted it in the OCX radio.
Correct. But I mean, like, if anyone else listening elsewhere, not in
that blankets everyone.
It's true. Everyone does go to that group, for real. Format wise, D is thinking about double elimination, which would be really, really awesome.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we just need to see how many people. We're thinking hopefully 120 people, but again, that's optimistic a little bit. If we got 120, I think we'd be very happy. Currently, we're floating around 60 people that have confirmed going. So
good work, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we still have several months to go. I know Chris Allen is going. I know the Birmingham Barons are going. We got some guys from Seattle that are thinking about coming down. Like, we have a lot of people from around the country. A lot of Jaron Foss is coming, he thinks. So we're trying, like, this is going to be a very competitive tournament. And if it's double elimination, if you go undefeated all the way into day 2, you could drop one and be fine and keep going. And that's pretty enticing to reward people who go undefeated. Another thing I'll say about it is I want to unveil one of our prizes for the event that we haven't said and are spoiled anywhere else.
Is this an OCX exclusive?
This is an OCX exclusive until we actually post the article.
Well, this is live right now, baby.
Yeah, this is live. So, basically, but real quick, I'm going to tease just a little bit. If you register before September 13th, right, you will get for free, for no extra, just for regging, you'll get a challenge coin and a card binder. And the card binder is a 9-pocket, so it's like really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's to entice people. That's our deadline. Actually, I think it's September 15th, so you have a couple days to play second edition to see if you actually want to go. But for me, it's really cool because that's kind of the deadline for us to order that stuff, and we're trying to push it as late as possible. We have an article. The playmat is an option for you to buy, and I worked really hard on it. It's the Maelstrom in the Kessel Run with a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, it's an amazing looking mat.
That mat is fucking amazing. It is.
Worked really hard on it. Top 4 templates exclusive. Only one. We're only gonna make one set, and we'll have some top 8 range rulers. However, the exclusive I'm gonna do here is every player, no matter what, if they enter the tournament, is getting a Mall Crew alt art.
Oh, nice.
And the Mall Crew, the Mall Crew is it's him as a hologram while Kira's looking at him in solo. And we've just decided that the standard participation is that normally, but if you make day 2 or if you win any of our side events, you'll get a holographic version of that card.
Oh,
Nice.
Jesus Christ, man.
So that is the participation prize. So no matter what, that's going to be. And then top 128 players. So basically, if we don't get that many, another participation, we'll be getting a plastic alt art. Top 64 will get newly designed Mynock logo target locks with our new logo. And top 32 players will receive another plastic alt art card. Those numbers might fluctuate depending if we do double elimination, and we'll figure it out. And the other thing is, if you lose twice, totally fine, because we're trying to figure out a second tournament that you can do, like a fail out tournament, like Burnout, that you could maybe win yourself back into day 2. We're still talking about it. In terms of side events, we definitely are going to do a threat rating side event. I'm trying to have it together in that for threat rating, we are just going to make custom threat ratings for every ship in the game. And so you don't have to use FFGs. We'll pre-release a PDF of our threat rating builds.
Okay.
And then the other side event we really want to do, we talked about it yesterday, is Chris Allen's draft. Everything in the Mynock Open is free, other than catered lunch, which you can do as an add-on, and maybe the draft event, because your admission is paying for a piece of the 3 conversion kits, and whatever you draft, you keep.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Cardboard, dials, cards, whatever you end up drafting, you just keep that. So the draft, if you don't know, is we took the conversion kit. Chris took the conversion kits, made card packs out of them and upgrade packs. Basically, same thing as Magic, and you just do the same thing as a Magic draft. Rip it open, pass to the left, and that's how you build your squad. And you have to build 2 different factions from it, and then it's just Hangar Bay.
Which is super. It's a super cool thing. I think
it's awesome.
FFG should take a note to that. But
yeah, it's really great. We're very, very, very excited for the event. I can't say how much. Like, there's a significant amount of work going into it overall. Like, everyone involved. Andrew Knuckles, we're pairing with Curled Paw Creative, and he's helping us with the templates, and he's going. Dion is going to be the Gold Squadron we're partnering with to be the official stream of the show. And I guess TCX Radio is the official podcast of the Mynock Open. They just self-declared that. So, I mean, I guess that means OCX Radio is the official podcast of the Mynock Open.
Yay!
Oh, you had to throw that in there, didn't you? Son of a bitch.
So anyway, if you guys, I will say, if you can go and you kind of confirm it again, if you're out of state, try to order plane tickets as soon as possible. And keep in mind, if you fly into LAX, an Uber into Burbank will probably cost you around $60, $40 to $60, just because of the distance.
That's
so actually, sometimes it's cheaper to fly to Vegas and then Bob Hope. Sometimes it's a little more affordable.
Oh, okay. Fly to Vegas and then go
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, you could. And for wives, like X-Wing wives, if you want to convince them to go to LA, Coach had a really good idea to kind of have an X-Wing wives group, try and set up things that they can do in LA. Tons to do. The Getty is one of my favorite museums, and there's lots and lots of tourist places, shopping centers. The Grove is one of the biggest outdoor shopping centers in the U.S. Just a lot to do for the wives if you bring somebody. So yeah, that's the Mynock Open. If you want to register, please register as soon as possible, because the more accurate number count we get, the better D can organize the official event. Thanks for letting me whore that.
Well done.
You know, fucking A, Farmer, you did a really good job. God damn it, I'm just sitting here trying to make the finances of myself work.
Listen, I don't want anyone to put themselves in any kind of like hardship just to attend the event. Like, if you can't make it, you can't make it. I totally understand that. This isn't. We hope that this isn't the only time we do this. We really want to do it maybe annually. We're not sure. It all depends on how much money we lose on it. "Quote unquote" lose. I say "quote unquote" lose because we're getting close to a break even, and whatever we don't have, our patrons are paying for. Thankfully, this would not be possible without the Mynock Squadron patrons. So, huge kudos to everyone that helps support us, because this event wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have the upstart funds to do it.
It's
awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like way too much fun. It's spawning new ones, right?
Yeah,
it's came out with a Mynock Open. Now all of a sudden there's the Gold Squadron Podcast Classic.
Well, the Gold Squadron Classic is that was actually a charity event that Dion's doing. And,
for the club, the Cubs.
Yeah, big deal.
This is a legit tournament. I mean, it's not an FFG sanctioned tournament, but
we're trying to make this as official as possible, as official and as professional as it can be without being an FFG event.
But you know it's not going to be an FFG event.
Correct. And we're trying to do as much as we can to make the prize support feel worth it, because the grand prize, and here's the kicker, if you win the Mynock Open, we will pay for your entry into any X-Wing tournament of your choice and pay for a stipend of at least some of your travel there.
Okay.
And that number is dependent on how many people sign up, but it is, I will say, it's the amount that we have for bottom line is enough to fly me across the country.
So I'm getting here is that this, and I want to go further in depth with this for like 2 minutes.
Sure.
FFG is giving us the tournament schedule, right?
Yeah.
They're giving us, the hyperspace, the store championships, the regional, whatever. X-Wing is too big for them to hold on to just that.
I agree.
It's too big to just, we're going to have this, we're going to have this, we're going to have this. Like, no, we need more. And we're not exactly happy with the way FFG's products are going or tournaments are going. So what I love about this is, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it right now. You guys are the biggest name in X-Wing. You are. Gold Squadron is like 0.5% behind you. But the two of you, you're able to do this. And what's crazy about it is you're the only reason you're able to do this is because there are that many of us that believe in this game, that believe in your two organizations to give you money.
Honestly, it's been very humbling. The amount of people that support us and people coming up to me at Gencon, me and D, just saying like, "Man, I really like your podcast. Thank you for what you do." It's really why we do it. It's so like it makes it worth it. I'm sure you get that too, Coach.
We do, and it's not for the money. I'm understanding.
The money is so that we can keep doing it.
The money lets us give crazy cool shit out to people.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I personally haven't seen a dime of the Patreon money other than expenses to get me places, which has been very nice, but I just wouldn't have been able to go to Gen Con without the Patreon, just period.
And believe me, it was well worth it. It was well worth it. But I love these ideas of these tournaments that are bigger than life. They're bigger than FFG. Fuck FFG. We're doing this. We can have our own 120-person tournament that is a creme de la creme. I mean, and I don't want to label as that. Anyone who just picked up the game tomorrow could probably register for the Mynock Open.
You don't have to be some great player to be in the Mynock Open. It's going to have, there'll be tons of again, I think that threat card event will really help newer players for sure.
Yeah. But what I love about this, and I'm going to wrap this up, is that it's a great opportunity for new players in your local area to meet maybe the top echelon players. Because when you guys throw out a tournament, people from all over the world are going to show up because that's who you are. You're Mynock Squadron. You pull from all over the world. It's, for me, the way I look at it is a great way for newer players to go like, I'm Jaron Foss. Who are you? I picked up a course set the other day. Good luck, kid. Here's what you should do. Blah 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 blah. It's just like, it's like a junior high football player meeting freaking Aaron Rodgers.
The last thing I'll say on it, Coach, is that I'm trying to be a little cagey and not like talk up the quote unquote X-Wing celebs that have said they'll be there. But I will say that it does have a very Worlds-esque feel to it, and that a lot of my friends from across the country, a lot of my close friends who are either talented players or podcasters have said they're going, and that just means a lot to me. And if you're in California, or if you can't go to Worlds or whatever, and you can make it to this event, I'm sure a lot of these players would be happy to shake your hand and talk to you and just play a game.
No,
so thanks for letting me talk about it.
It's one of those things that you're able to do. So, I tell you what, we're gonna. I think it's about that time. Yep, it is. We're gonna send this off to a little commercial break, and we are going to say hello to whatever commercial Montana decides. So, take it away, commercial. And we are in commercial break.
Go Montana.
Yeah, do it live. How about that?
I'm still writing down the timestamp.
Oh my goodness!
Thanks, Coach, for that. That was more time than I was expecting.
Hey, man, you did great. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I think you sold it to everyone. If you got the money to do it, I'm like I said, I'm still. She hasn't said no. And I'm gonna talk to D, and if I can get Esther to like, hey. Actually, I will take your wife for the day we go X-Wing, and we're going to go to wherever, and we're going to go shopping, and she can spend my money. Pretty sure I'm in.
Yeah, dude. Unfortunately, I'd like to say, like, I have a spot for you in my house to stay, but I can't because it's full. It's like I already have 4 people committed, or else I would totally say you could room with me.
Don't worry about it. I'd rather stay with Sealy anyway.
Oh, man. Yeah, his girlfriend would love that. Ace of Graph's coming too, which is super cool. I've never met him in person.
Excited. So. If I'm half and half, I can go. I'm not gonna know by September 15th. There's no way.
Well, it's fine. We'll have Reg open up until like a couple weeks before the event.
I will let you know. Let's see, it's in November. I'll let you know a month in ahead if I can go.
Cool, awesome.
And it's only a 32-hour drive from my house. So I can totally do that.
Come pick me up.
the route I saw goes right through the middle of Iowa and then continues on to like Utah before it just juts down.
Good.
Hey, good. Chico, if you want to judge for it, we could probably just comp like all of your entry and stuff.
Fuck.
I would love to be able to, but this year, like the reason I wasn't at Gen Con is that I have used and abused my time off like too much. I simply can't.
Guys, I
can't do another X-Wing tournament that's not like within an hour's drive for the rest of the year.
I think I have about 30 or 40 minutes left in me. My fever is really kind of hitting me hard, so I'm sorry I can't stay for the long time. I'm trying to eat like ramen over here. I'm on like 4 different meds.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Got the con crud.
Yeah, I think I got sick from the plane.
Ooh, that happens. That's rough.
Late.
Yeah, I'm probably only gonna make it till like midnight. I was up until 3 in the morning last night, fighting fires between like multiple other organizations I'm part of. Like just shit's imploding on like every organization.
Oh, sorry, dude.
In. So I'm like I'm trying to hold them all together, and like I just stayed home from work today. I was like I can't fucking handle it, but I need to get a good night's sleep tonight. So. But yeah, midnight's only an hour away for me.
Yeah. No, you just said you'd make it to midnight Central Time, right?
Absolutely not.
By the way, what's up, guys?
What's
you
up,
doing?
Chicago?
How the fuck you been?
Do you have your Audacity running?
No, absolutely not.
We can snap you in whenever.
You don't have to. Montana will figure it out.
Yeah, so I have exactly 1 day to edit this episode because I'm gone this weekend.
Oh shit.
Unless we want to release Monday or Tuesday
All
or
right.
something.
I got it running.
All right. Ready?
We gotta wait for Coach.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I
No,
don't
you
need.
just need to.
I just need.
Yeah,
I need Brett and
as long as you need
myself,
like
that's
2
it.
snaps. Yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Got it. Oh, I got a huge spike.
Got
You'll see
it.
That one.
Got
That was
it.
me.
I'm in.
We don't need you.
Shut up.
Got it.
No, Ryan, Farmer, all I want to do is we got what I want your opinion on. We might skip ahead to squad building.
Sure, no issue, man.
So for anyone following show notes, we're going to skip ahead to squad building. We'll cover the in-flight report afterwards because I have some of my own thoughts on that one, and it's definitely different from everyone else's. So I think if everyone's ready to come back from commercial, we've all snapped. We're all good.
Ready.
I guess I'll introduce Chicago for fuck's sake.
Jesus.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again with OCX Radio Podcast. Guess who is also in studio after the fucking commercial break who decided to show up? None other than back from the dead, Chicago.
Hey, here to party as always.
I do love that tagline you have. So we are we're gonna do a little switching of the show notes just because Farmer is not feeling the greatest, and I do not want to keep him up any more than we have to. But I do believe his knowledge is essential in this next topic that we're going to discuss. I want to talk about squad building in 2.0. Number one, I want to plug a couple of sites that have websites up already. One is the X-Wing Second Edition's Stopgap at www.devjohnny.github.io/X-Wing2. I was also just today given knowledge of another phone app called Launch Bay Next.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. They have everything up there. It is super easy to use. Until the official comes out, I want to go to either those two options. I don't believe the Stopgap has a a phone app, but the Launch Bay Next. Look that up on Android and iPhone, which is crazy. It is on both. I've already created like 3 or 4 lists, so it is very good, very streamlined. The only thing they don't do is they don't allow you to copy a ship.
That's not true.
But they do?
Launch Bay, it does. On iPhone, if you swipe right on it, just keep swiping right, it copies the chip for you.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna assume then it does the same on Android then. So
yeah, left is delete, right is to copy.
Okay, there you go. You heard it from Mynock Squadron exclusive.
That doesn't seem extremely intuitive, though.
But no, I would recommend those two if everyone's listening to use those in your pre 2.0 release date squad building.
Yet Another is also up a copy of Yet Another.
I'm sorry. Yes, Yet Another has come out with a 2.0 as well.
It's not Jordan. It's someone else who was working on it. I can't remember who it was.
Well then fuck them.
Well, it's the same. It looks functions literally exactly the same because it's open source.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, what I want to talk about, specifically in this section is, man, X-Wing 2.0, there's a huge knowledge base that everyone needs to learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot.
Everything's kind of been flipped on its side. A lot of the stuff is the same, but not everything interacts the same. And I want to talk about how us old players are going to deal with that. So let's give it up to probably the most professional, Ryan, the moisture farmer.
I think the most difficult thing about squad building and everything that's moving forward in second edition is, I mean, to quote Star Wars, unlearning what you've learned. Like, there's so many habits that we've picked up, good or bad, from first edition, that it's essentially, anyone who's played it, it's a much different game. The way everything functions, like, it feels so different. And all those bad habits you picked up from doing certain lists or certain builds, or even in squad building itself, you'll see them pop up and lose you games very quickly. Specifically in squad building, I'll say that in first edition, there were a lot more stapled on must-have upgrades for ships that felt necessary to power them up to the point of them being playable. However, in second edition, a lot of these ships have been balanced to the point where you can run most of them without any kind of upgrade on them at all, which is pretty awesome, like alphas and whatnot. Of course, there are certain upgrades that synergize well with ships. We saw in Gencon, Supernatural Vader dominate, and he will continue to dominate, but he's also very expensive. And I think that the three pieces of advice I'd say most for squad building in second edition is, first off, don't worry about forcing talent slots or other slots you felt were important in first edition. You want to look at building a ship that, that fills a role specifically in your squad and has a purpose. And if an upgrade should always, and this is from first edition, have a reason to be there and not just to fill out points. And if it doesn't need to be on the ship, don't put it on it, because this leads into my second point. The half point rule in second edition, I've been saying it for months, is one of the biggest changes to second edition that people aren't realizing or talking about, and will have the most remarkable impact. Yeah, thank you. The most impact on the board and the gameplay itself, 100%. Because think of it this way: you load up a Boba Fett, right? You make a Boba Fett 100 points. Or like 120 points or whatever. That sucker gets to half health. You know that you've lost a fourth of your squad right there, and the ship isn't destroyed yet. That's massive. That's something that all players need to be cognizant of moving forward. And because of that reason, this leads me to my third point. I think if the bid structure for pilot skill and points stays, and D doesn't necessarily believe me on this, I think we're going to see a lot bigger and more outrageous bids for certain pilots, especially because of how few I6s there are. For example, Boba Fett and Fen Rao, if you just stick them both together in a squad, it's expensive once you start putting stuff on, and you can't really fit another good ship in there that you'd like. You could maybe put a Z95. You can't fit a Zealous Recruit. You could maybe fit a Seek in there, but it's the old, do I really add a TIE fighter to this squad if the TIE fighter is just going to die and lose me MOV? Especially
it's the whole Bonner. I'm running Echo and Whisper. Do I really need the TIE fighter to muck everything up?
You have it 100%, Coach. The fact that that half points is going to be happening all the time. Sometimes it's better just to bank more points. And moving last for those sixes is going to be huge in this game. I would not be surprised if we start seeing 15-point bids on squads, just on like 2-ship builds specifically, just based on, which would be an equivalent to like a 7 or 6-point bid now, just because of how things are priced.
That's where I'm at. I think it's going to be very common.
Yeah.
Because we all know what 100-point Miranda does. It gets added on to the end. So,
well, again, but it'll also discourage if you're running two ship builds, which we see now, obviously, especially two ship like small bases or something like that, which I don't know if we'll see a lot of, because large base ships are such a liability now with the way the crit structure is. You want to be banking points. If the upgrade isn't necessary, you don't necessarily have to put it on. And D asked me yesterday, like I built a Boba Fen build that I liked, and it was coming in at around 180 points, and I felt it was kind of done, maybe like 178. And he said, "Is that even good? Like, would you even fly that? Like, is it even worth like having that many points free?" Because in the first edition mindset, you want, if you have space for points, you should be putting points on, because there's not really a downside to that. Other than the ship being destroyed or half on large base ships. In second edition, though, because half points are far more prevalent, it's better to just probably bank them if there isn't a full use.
I'm going to go with, you're going to see a lot more of 15, 20. I mean, 20 is going to be extreme.
Yeah, 20 will be extreme, but
I would not be surprised to see it.
But think of it this way, Coach. 20 points doesn't fit an extra TIE fighter in your squad.
You cannot get anything for 20 points.
You can't get another ship in your squad for 20 points. So are you really going to, if you feel like your squad is complete, are you really going to soak up 20 more points for extra upgrades if you like everything that's already on there? And that's a question you have to ask. Is there a better upgrade that I can put on this that would be more useful and more optimal because I have the points to spare? And what is my base survivability of the squad? Because if I'm going to be going with games where I feel like Boba won't die, but he'll hit half a lot, there's no point in tossing all these extra bombs and HLC and all this stuff that I'll use once a game on if it'll be a larger detriment in squad building.
If you feel your squad is complete and you got 21 points left, you're like, okay, I got a 21 point bid. And I feel like that's the way a lot of games are going to go. I really do. We don't know anything right now until it flushes out and this and that. But I do feel like, yeah, you're going to see some big bids out there.
Kyle, what do you think of the bid situation and the amount of ships? Like, again, I think for me, the bid for I5s and I6s is going to be real.
You're not wrong. I would agree with the fact that
wait a minute. The fuck? Did you just say you're not wrong? Come on. We're not that podcast.
What do you mean? But you got 200 points to work with. I mean, if you think about some of the bids that you've seen in 1.0 where people will take like a 5-point bid, that ends up being like a 10-point bid. And if you look at some of the prices for some of the upgrades and stuff like that, if you're saying you wouldn't be surprised to see a 15-point bid, I'm going to say that wouldn't be surprising. So, and
especially because so many of those upgrades just aren't super solid or necessary. We're going to see a lot of empty talent slots. I'll tell you that, because other than Lone Wolf, there really aren't a lot of standout talents right now.
Yeah, I'll agree with that we're not seeing, like, you don't have those cards that are so incredibly good, like expertise, that just are a lot of points. They take up that slot and they do really like a lot of work in a squad. We don't see a lot of those because they've taken a lot of it out, which I like. I do think there's some good upgrades that they've added in that take your ship and give it that little tweak of an edge that we'll see. I think in some of the ace lists you'll really see a lot of that bidding, but if you're not going for a lot of that reposition, I almost see people just going for that extra little bit of, okay, sure, I'll throw an engine upgrade on there because maybe that white boost is just going to give me that edge in that one game over having the red boost.
So to play a little devil's advocate on that, I think that the 1.0 mentality is going to carry over a little bit. I think people are naturally, if they have 200 points to fill, they're going to naturally want to fill as close to that 200 points as they can. I I get what you're saying, Farmer. I think that the people who really understand it, and maybe it'll take a little while to catch on, but I think for the most part, people are going to want to fill their squads up.
Listen, I agree with you. The old, that's why I opened with, you have to unlearn like all of your habits from first edition. I'm
Right.
trying, like, I 100% agree with you. People are going to just say, I have the points. Why don't I just put all of these upgrades on the card? I'm just hoping that your listeners can maybe get ahead of the curve a little bit there, because that mindset, suddenly you've cost yourself, if you put 20 more points of upgrades on that ship, you've cost yourself initial 10 points of MOV when it goes to half.
Right. Yeah. That's a great way to see it. You have to unlearn that to be productive. You gotta be conscious that you're gonna lose half those points at MOV when your ship gets hit. Otherwise, the adding upgrades to add upgrades for those situational opportunities is not going to be as valuable.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that for sure. Chico, what, I guess I'm just curious from a judging standpoint on this. We don't have OP happening yet, but do you think that you're going to have more questions on, obviously there's math for half, right? But we do have regen and everything like that. Are you ready for more of that, the half point like discussions and arguments happening in games?
I'll just say it now, and I'll say it, a dozen times every event I'm at. Half points rounds down. Half points rounds down. Half points rounds down. that is like it is amazing every event I go to how many times I get asked that question. But so I mean that'll be a thing. I guess we don't have things like integrated astromech or stuff like that anymore. But I mean, yeah, there's going to be a ton of questions. It's like, well, I put in hull damage over here, but then they regen shields. Does that still count as half? It's like, look, like add the hull in the shields, figure out what half is. It's like this should not be complicated. But I almost feel like people ask the questions hoping that you're going to make a mistake just so that they can get more points.
I will say that luckily they have confirmed the app will have half point values on ships as well. They'll have like the full, and then next to it, I think a half value.
Right. That was going to be my question: is the app going to take care of everything?
The app should take care of all of, at least the point values. Hopefully, there's like a little thing that tells you what it's at if it's at half, what that number is.
Well, that's something like I've always done this with my my tournament lists. Is I'll have my card in a sleeve, and then on the back, I'll have its total point value, and then also its half point value. So if I'm in the middle of a game, I can sit there and go, oh crap, how many points am I at? Flip things over, add it up really quick, and keep moving on instead of having to flesh everything out in the heat of the moment. And then at the end of the game, I mean, it's just easier to add things up. So, having that in the app of telling you, okay, here's how many points you are, here's how many points at half, write that down, stick it in your sleeve. And then, life's a lot easier throughout the tournament day, because nobody wants to be sitting there doing 6+ games of X-Wing and having to do math in between each game. Like, just give you some nice simple numbers to add.
Be terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing, just quick. I had a question here. Is the reduction of combos, token stacking, and arcs going to turn people away from the game? No. I know we've all been saying, yay, we're getting back to flying and we're getting back to this and like arcs matter and this and that. But we have to realize that halfway through this game, a lot of people discovered, ooh, I can just focus, evade, or focus, evade with my Sunterfell, or I got 360 arc, doesn't matter. And they found that the game was easy for them, I guess, to win at.
Well, let's be honest. When you get into 2.0, damage is going to be thrown around a lot more.
Yep.
Like you're going to get hit more because you don't have token stacking and massive arc dodging and all that stuff.
Unless you're a defender.
Right. So there's going to be those feel bad moments of, oh crap, I'm taking damage. This sucks. And that's something that people need to get used to. It's like, and I'm sure there's people who are out there that like their thorough enjoyment of the game was getting these big grandiose combos and like massive tank ships and flying those. And, you know, we probably will lose some people over that, but I would argue that the new game that's been created is so much better that those players can go play something else.
Yes.
And I'm going to sit here and enjoy this new game with all the people who are also enjoying it.
And you know what? On top of that, I've had several more people say, hey, is this 2.0 opportunity a time for me to get into the game? Like, should I start playing now because it's kind of a transitional period? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's an opportunity for people who have been seeing people play X-Wing, having a ton of fun at it. But they didn't want to get in because they didn't want to invest a ton of money and get up to where everybody else is at. It's a spot for them to get in with a core set and a ship and be viable. They can come in and do whatever they want.
Well, there's a huge caveat to that I think we're missing, is that we don't know what the tournament structure is going to look like for what ships are legal at each tournament. It's like, even if somebody comes in today and shows up at a store with their core set and a few Wave 1 ships, I mean, they're going to get stomped by locals and their conversion kits. So there needs to be an understanding between people. It's like there are like 3 different buckets that we need to understand. There is the conversion kit I played 1.0 or bought from somebody who bitched out. And then there's the people who bought Wave 1. And then there's and the people, like those people that want to be competitive and play Wave 1. And then there's the people who bought Wave 1 and just want to play with threat cards. And like in your local group, you need to be able to understand those people and embrace them and bring them into the fold. Otherwise, you know, some of those people who are coming into 1.0 and they're like, hey, is this a good time to get in? It's like, well, let's see, because it could be a really shitty time to get into 1.0 or to second edition if like the best tournaments are going to be, you know, everything's viable, which I would love because I'm a 1.0 person, but somebody coming in is going to be like, well, shit, now I got to buy conversion kits and I got to buy somebody's collection and, you know, fuck, like that's really complicated for those people if they still want to ramp up. I don't think that's how it's going to be, but I really don't know. I don't think I can answer that question yet.
I will say this. A lot of people have been wondering, hey, will it only be Wave 1 for OP or will there be more waves available? I will say right off the bat, if you want to be a competitive player, you don't need all of the stuff. You can be really competitive with, like very competitive with 2 core sets and a TIE Advanced expansion. Like Vader Mini Swarm is actually legit. And if you want to be, if you even want, you could buy a TIE Interceptor from somewhere. I'm just going to spoil it right now. My starting squad for second edition is Supernatural Vader, FCS, and the Afterburners, and 3 alphas. 3 alpha interceptors, and that comes in at 195.
Oh,
that's what I'm starting.
It's gonna wreck you.
That sounds good.
Gonna wreck you.
It's probably gonna wreck me, but that squad's gonna be super fun, and it's what I want to fly first.
Death Rain, baby.
Yeah, you'll destroy me, but that's fine.
Oh, no, I'm gonna compound on that. As a store owner, I have a very different view from a lot of other people. And I'll get into more of this later, but store owners are going to have to work for it. They're going to have to work for the new players coming in. Like you say, oh, 2.0 is coming. this is a great time to get in an X-Wing. And they're going to go, oh, okay, I get an X-Wing. Here's my core set. I can get in an X-Wing. And you're like, sure? No, not really. Store owners are going to have to bite a bullet for the first probably 6 months of this game. But I can tell you from experience, it's going to make it up for in the back end. That is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping FFG's outlook for 2.0 is for store owners, the one that are actually selling their product and that actually have their tournaments, is that yes, you're going to bite the bullet for a little bit, but then after that, you're going to get 10 new X-Wing players. So after that, it's all gravy train. And I want to tell them that it's like, yeah, that's a big fucking if. But my argument's not with what 2.0. My argument's more with what happened at the in-flight report. And we'll go over that later. But I do believe in squad building in 2.0. It's a Wild West show, buddy, baby. Who knows what's going to be good? And I don't think we'll know what is good even in the first 2 months. I still think there's such a big card pool that you can't find that combo, that fucking Dengaroo combo.
That's why, Coach. Not to kind of talk about it again, but at least for the open, the card pool is totally open. We're app to, like, regardless what the app is, I think we're allowing access to everything. And
which I love. I love that thing. Yeah. I love the fact that it's wide open because I think it is. I would much rather have a Wild Wild West meta than, okay, these are the 3 top. This is the S tier. This is the T1. This is T2. Whatever the ranking is. I like it where, like, I really literally, you look across the opponent's table and you're like, what does that card do again? What does that card do again? I'm totally not prepared for every single list that comes at me, which just further builds the better players into better players. But I'm just saying that they're going to get caught off guard too by something they've never even thought of, which I love this era of X-Wing.
Well, that's how it's going to be for a little bit, but we all know eventually we're going to get into that point where, you know, some people are going to find some amazing lists and they're going to take over.
Somebody's going to find that one
tweak by the points. Like,
yes, and I super hope, like, I am putting faith in FFG to do that well.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna give the adieu to Mr. Ryan Farmer.
Thank you, guys.
He needs to go to bed and chew his soup.
Yeah, thank you guys so much again. I love coming on. You guys are one of my favorites. In my new job, I'm allowed to have headphones in for a large chunk of my day. So the OCX podcast is with me a lot of the time. I'm doing top secret Disney things.
No,
I have to listen to that sober.
Yes, I am always sober.
It's a whole other game, Chico. It's a whole other game. Well, you're always welcome on this show whenever you want,
and you're always welcome in my lap.
The doors are always open. I will say this though: there will be a day when Coach comes a calling on the Mynock Squadron podcast.
Oh boy! Oh man!
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for it.
I'm not.
It's gonna be coming.
I mean, D handles the guests, so if you want to queue up, I mean, do you want to come on next week? Like, whatever.
Fuck, that might be too soon, but sure.
Oh, okay. If you want to come on Monday, you're more than welcome.
We'll talk about this. Afterwards.
We'll talk about it. Okay.
Yes. You've both been on the show for far too long for me not to finally bring it up and like, hey, come on.
I was waiting to after
Shit
Worlds
runs
this.
both ways, buddy.
I was waiting till after Worlds this year so that I could interview you as the Worlds runner-up because you're going to lose in the final table.
You know what?
Oh,
I went 1-1.
he'd have to make the final table first.
I went. I
he
dropped because I had a BattleTech event and I couldn't skip out on it. And
BattleTech.
but Java Meta was gonna go far. It was.
The Java meta.
We all super believe you.
Hey, second edition Java is pretty good.
Oh, how sad was that? The Java wasn't on the voting fucking block.
I know, it's so sad.
It had the picture on the front of the page, and I was like, "Yes, Java Meta."
By the way,
And
you
then-
people voting for these things are doing a bad job.
And then, nope, you couldn't vote for Java. I was like, "The fuck."
I'm not voting for it. I ain't going to that tournament. I don't care.
I don't even have a Twitter account, so I can't vote.
At Drunk Coach.
At
666.
wait, if someone wants to start at Drunk Coach,
Oh,
Oh
good.
shit!
There
He
you
is
go.
Drunk Coach. We just lost
Yeah,
him.
we lost him.
Nice.
I've been
So,
I've been
by the way,
thinking
One
about
to handle.
Oh,
that's Pound Drunk Coach.
Did you literally leave me, or is this like an inside joke that I'm not getting?
no, you glitched out for a sec, Coach.
Oh,
Dang it,
fuck.
Farmer, keep it going.
What?
guys-
this is
you
my
guys could've had me.
vacation. I have a fever.
Yes,
All right.
There's a fever, and the only
I'm headed-
subscription he has is more OCX radio. So we're gonna let him go to bed.
Or soup chewing. That's his only prescription.
All right. I love you guys.
Good night, Farmer.
Farmer.
Love you too, buddy.
Send you the audio later. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
How do I? Oh,
You're supposed to scree at the end of that, or yub nub, whichever. Oh, he's gone already.
He gone.
Damn. Jesus Christ. All right, boys. We're gonna slim this baby down because we're already running behind schedule because somebody decided to talk way too much. Go figure. Let's see. What do I want to go with? Okay.
Oh, Jesus,
I'm
there's
gonna
another
touch
page
on-
these show notes. Holy
yub
shit.
nub, yub nub.
Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
still. What the fuck? Okay, there you go. Then he backs out. Hope his Audacity was still running.
Oh God.
Anyway, what I do want to talk about, I want to throw Chicago Mark and I's thoughts on the in-flight report because we were not here for that. I know what their thoughts are mostly, but Mark, let's start with you. What did you think of? We're gonna skip right over the fucking Resistance and the First Order because we knew that was coming. What are your thoughts on Clone Wars, the Galactic Republic or whatever, and the CIS?
Well, this is all new to me. I mean, I'll be learning as it comes out. I'm familiar with the EU on that. That's fine. But what kind of has me all excited is an Armada, that Super Star Destroyer. Holy shit, is that beautiful!
Holy shit, is that expensive?
Yeah, it's gonna be a mantelpiece.
Gonna have to have 3 of them for that one card.
I'm gonna go with an Armada that if you put that on the board, it's like, hey, you win. Good job.
Right.
What do you so pretty much nothing on expanding X-Wing to 7 factions.
More to get.
More to get.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, what do you got?
I'm not really too big on it, to be honest. I never really thought that if I was playing X-Wing that I needed to fly a droid faction, or if somehow the ships from the Old Republic couldn't get phased into the Rebels. I don't know. I guess from my experience of watching the original trilogy compared to the new trilogy, I don't know. A droid army just doesn't sound that amazing.
Chicago. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think for super fans, it's going to be awesome. Right? I think people who are really into the X-Wing lore will gravitate around and love the fact that they're able to play these different factions, and the more opportunities they have, the better experience they'll have. Quite honestly, you know, I'll put it up. So when we were at Gen Con, we were talking to, who was it? Was it Douglas? That was all over these different factions and knew all about the lore and all about the different history of things, but have never played X-Wing. Right?
He was very excited that the Old Republic was going to be a faction.
Right, exactly. So I think there's a lot of people that are into the lore that like the differentiation of things. So I'm excited. I like that people will join just for that fact. And people will play just because they get to play this extra faction that's separate from everything else. But for me, it doesn't do much personally. But if it gets people into the game, it gets people excited about it. If it gets somebody into it because they like it, I'm good with it. But I also know where you're going to come from. Your qualm as a store owner, I feel for that, and having to support that is difficult.
So when I heard that they announced Clone Wars, on both fronts, I was angry on both fronts. One, I don't think the Clone Wars needs to be an X-Wing. There's no reason.
They got cool ass ships.
No. Just because there's cool ass ships does not. Okay. The overall sentiment of the public, of Star Wars fans, is we generally don't like anything that comes out of episode 1, 2, and 3. Those are like, we don't. And I'm speaking on probably the elitist Star Wars group, but I don't consider those.
I would be right there. I wasn't a huge fan of the original trilogy, but the space battles I fucking loved.
The space battles were great, sure.
Which is what fucking X-Wing is.
X-Wing is but X-Wing is not just about space battle. X-Wing is about managing.
X-Wing literally is about space battles.
It's about, well, when you get down to the money side about it, it is managing player expectation versus player buying ratio. So what I look at when I buy my X-Wing products, I look at who plays how many lists. And conveniently, up until now, I could pretty much order one of I never had to scale back or scale down any orders that I did. I could usually order 6 K-Wings, 6 Kirax fighters, and 6 TIE Phantoms or whatever. Because of my local interior group, I haven't bred, but it is just naturally fallen upon. I have an equal amount of scum, I have an equal amount of rebel, and an equal amount of imperial players. And if I overbuy, it's not that big of a deal because some players switch factions. Now, I'm going to bring up Aaron Bonner. He doesn't know I'm doing this, but sorry, Aaron. Too bad. I asked him, I says, what do you think about 2 new factions of the game? He says, I love it. I love it. Gives me more product to sell. I says, that means you have to buy that much more product. He goes, that's fine. And I says, it's fine for you in Omaha. But for me in Orange City, and I'm sorry, I'm not the only small game store owner in the world. When you broaden your player base to 7 factions, because let's not sugarcoat this. FFG wants people to play factions. They're gonna have the stalwarts from 1.0. They're gonna buy everything. That's not their business model going forward. Their business model going forward is somebody's gonna be all in on one faction, which
It
is
muddies
dumb,
the water.
Which is dumb, if you ask me. Because that forces me to buy product that I probably will never sell. Or I have to put on eventually 25% sale. I mean, they're getting the money. That's fine. But it's fucking me out of money.
It muddies the water. I get what you're saying. It takes people who would normally buy when it's 3 factions, right? If they're gonna buy scum ships, now they're gonna buy just a certain faction or empire, right? Instead, they're gonna buy their first order or they're gonna buy Galactic Empire. They're not gonna buy both. It's not empire. They're not gonna. It does muddy the water. It spreads stuff out.
It's going to start. It's going to start where, okay, I'm a rebel player, right? I got my conversion kit. I got all these ships. Yay for me. Okay. FFG is probably not going to put out a rebel product for the next year and a half, maybe ever. Maybe what you have right now as a rebel player, that's it. That's what you get to play with, because the other 4 factions are not caught up. Right?
Yeah.
You're adding 2 new factions. You've got the Resistance to the First Order. They've got, 3 or 4 ships each? Compared to everything else that has like 10 or 12 ships. You're looking at abandoning 3 factions of players because you're never going to put out product for them. You're not going... The product they're going to get is going to be the 2nd edition of the same thing they got. That's what it's going to be.
That's where you're wrong, because Scum's getting a TIE fighter.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Woo!
Swarms that can fly over
You know
rocks.
what, Kyle? You fucking party pooper, you. I was on a roll. As a store owner, I'm sorry. This is bad for me. As
a small town store owner.
But look
for you.
at Legend of the Five Rings. They had 7 clans. 7 clans. And look how fast they're backtracking to try to make Scorpion not fucking super powerful and trying to get the rest of them, at least competitive. And they still can't do that. Scorpion's still the best fucking thing to run. Look at Dice Masters. Dice Masters came out with a great product, and it was not 3 months later they came out with a product. It was every single month they came out with something else. You believe me, I will tell you this right now. You cannot flood a gamer's market because your game will die. And right now, this is what I'm seeing with X-Wing. They are going to flood the market, and there are going to be people going, I want to play that, but I only have 2 ships to fucking fly in this faction. So I either have to buy a shit ton of this fucking faction, or I can buy $60, buy the conversion kit, and get all these ships that the stores are trying to offload for 25% or 50% off because that's back stock for them. And it's never going to come back into stock. it's killing the stores. It is these two new factions fucked the brick and mortars hardcore. And I don't see a way that they're like, this is not going to happen. I don't see how this is not going to happen. Yeah, I can pick up 2 more players or 3 more players. That is not going to offset the cost of me supplying enough product for everyone to have their pick and choose. It's just not going to happen. There's 7 factions, for fuck's sake.
I'll tell you right now, since I buy all my ships from your store, I more than likely won't be buying any of the Droid or the Old Republic faction.
Are you going to buy any? Are you going to buy any Empire, Rebel, Resistance?
Oh, I dabble in Order. I dabble in Empire. You know that.
You do. Okay, so you're going to dabble. All right. Yeah. There's a customer that bought pretty much one of everything. Now solidified down to whatever scum comes out and maybe a little Empire. How many players? How many players in my store right now? Chicago and Kyle, I'm going to ask you right now. And Montana, you know. How many players of mine are going to go, oh, it's a faction game now?
Oh, most of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that.
All of my customers are going to go, oh, this is a faction game now. I don't have to buy that and this and this. Okay, awesome. It's great for the customer. It sucks balls. Major balls for the store owner.
Yeah, unless you're afterburners and you only come out in the Fang and the Corset.
Oh my god!
Buy the scum afterburners.
That's crazy. I'm gonna stop now, but I want to hear Chico and Mark's take on this. So, Mark, you go first. No, Chico, you go first because you're almost bedtime.
I thought Mark got first grab before you started ranting, but
no. You get first grab because you're almost bedtime.
So I'm just going on about these factions. I'm excited for them, but I buy fucking everything. So I'm gonna be excited to see them. There's less combos that I can do throughout things. It makes me a little worried that it's going to be more difficult for me to get everything I want to the table, because before it was like, oh, there's this new ship. I can take this old list that I really enjoyed, swap out this thing for this new thing, and cool, I'm flying this new thing. Great. So that's going to be more difficult. There's going to be a lot more tournament prep that people need to do because you need to plan for 7 different factions to go against. And with each one having its own personal unique archetype, everyone has TIE fighters. They're like you have to pay attention to those things and how you're going to react to each of them. So it's going to make planning for the competitive scene like significantly more difficult. I think it's bonkers. We're gonna have dial upgrades for every fucking faction. Nobody needs that shit.
So just a little tidbit. I had to order dial upgrades, 12 of each, in order to get my promo launch day 2.0 kit. Which is fucking stupid. Nobody wants dial upgrades. Nobody wants dice packs. They just want the shit. But no, I had to order a bunch of that stuff to get my free.
You had to order a bunch of dice packs?
I had to order 12 dice packs. 12 dice packs. 12,
oh, man.
12 dice packs and 12 of each dial cover in order to get my launch day preparation kit.
Wow,
that's a bit harsh,
dude.
I fought him hard. I'm like, the fuck is this all about? No, and they're like, well, do you want your stuff? You got to order that stuff. I'm like, God damn it, motherfucker! And they're like, I'm like, what comes in it? Well, apparently I get a couple of core sets. I get one of each conversion kit, and apparently get some only special promo cards. I'm like, well, that probably fucking does it right there. Like, I should make my money back on that. But I'm like, What the fuck? I'm gonna have fucking dice packs in my store for fucking a year and a half. Like nobody's gonna do that.
Start a cult of like influencing people to let them know that karma and dice luck and all that stuff is a real thing.
Well,
so
what
they
I'm
get
thinking
mad at
about
their
doing
dice, throw them away and buy new ones.
is we're gonna have a 1.0 dice burning party.
Yeah.
The day before the new dice packs come out.
I got sparkly dice now, so if I need to sacrifice some dice shaming, to like let that catch on.
If you don't
like I have a giant bucket of dice that I've accumulated throughout
everyone
the years.
has a giant bucket of fucking dice.
I could come to your store and just like 3 times during the day just get mad at my dice, throw them in the garbage, and walk over, act like I'm buying some new ones, and then just grab some more out of my bucket and just keep doing that all day.
Right?
So let me get this straight. You can win dice?
You can win dice any day at my store, Mark. I'll fucking give you a goddamn dice pack.
That's not a story a Y-Wing would tell you.
Oh shit. Okay, so we're going to move on to. There's a really good segment, but we're not going to get to it. I don't think we're going to. We'll chalk that up for next week. And speaking of next week, ladies and gentlemen, there's also another special guest that will be on next week, and you do not want to miss out on that one because, ooh-wee, am I going to have my work cut out for me on that week. So, I think we're going to go on to, let's see, we're going to skip that. We did some of that, did that. Yeah, sure. So what I want to do is I want to hit on our new podcast spotlight. This was apparently a big hit because Coach got a free shirt. Yay! Liberty Squadron podcast. For mentioning
Liberty Squadron?
Liberty Squadron
out of Philadelphia.
So this week's Squadron podcast should not be new to anyone who listens to this radio podcast, but they are new-ish, and they are on the X-Wing podcast Central Facebook page. So if you want to get mentioned on the OCX radio podcast, you should be publishing your shit to the X-Wing podcast Central Facebook page. And this week we have none other than the Renegade. Jeez, I fucked that up. There you go, Mark. There you go. A little OCX love for you. The Renegade Squadron podcast. They are a Melbourne, Australia based podcast that discusses all things X-Wings and going on down under. They do a lot of streaming on Twitch, which you should check out. On Twitch, the Renegade Squadron podcast. They provide a ton of insight into what the meta and the playstyles are on the other side of the world. So if we all want to get like a little insight on what is probably good and flying well. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Brisbane. Mark is telling me Brisbane. With a lot of exclamation points. So apparently that is something I should say. In a little heads up. Hey, Mark. What is Tom and Ben's last name before I continue? So he has about 30 seconds for that to hit him. I've listened to a bunch of the podcasts. Mainly what I've done is I've watched a lot of their Twitch streams, and they do an excellent job, guys. Mark, our boy, OCX native Ventham, is the headliner for the Renegade Squadron podcast. He has... No, you're not going to help me out, Mark. All right, fuck it. Then, you know what? You get the only the headliner. The cast members of the excellent show are also Tom and Ben. And that's all I have to go off with because as much research as I've tried to do, they do not announce their names. The only reason I know Mark is because it's Mark. But go check them out. They are a very good podcast. If I think they Twitch stream better than they podcast, but that's because it's me and Mark loves me and I can say whatever the fuck I want. Another note I want to bring up is I didn't plan on doing this, but we had a very good post on the OCX Radio podcast Facebook page. I want everybody to go check out a new X-Wing Miniatures blog. It is called the Galactic Holonet. It is at medium.com/Christian Hooper. It is written by Christian Hooper. He did a very good job on this last one, I thought, with Krennic. He does a very good, thorough blog about explaining his previous tournaments, and it was a very good episode, or a very good blog, this latest episode, about him going over to Krennic and him running through a tournament that way. So there's our new podcast and new blog cast, apparently. Shout outs. I want to get on to the Battleless submissions. Now, nobody, well, they did inform me of Battleless submissions early on, but there was one winner, and he's not just the winner because he was on the show earlier tonight. He did actually have a very bad list.
Before you jump onto that, I need to drop off. So I'm gonna.
Oh no!
I'm gonna wave out of here.
All right, fuck it. No! Stop!
What?
Stop! We're gonna fuck the Battleless submission. It was Farmers anyway, so fuck off. Farmers dumb. All right, we're gonna do. You got shout outs, Chico?
Shit. Not really.
All right, then you can leave.
I haven't done like shit this week, so I ain't got anybody to shout out to.
All right.
Sorry. Oh shit!
All right.
Shout out to all the people who kept me updated during Gen Con.
Chico should shout out to his fellow OCX 2.0 crew that did a fantastic job last night.
Oh, yeah, we had a blast. That was a lot of fun.
You did. I noticed. It was fantastic. So, good night, Chico.
Good night.
If you want to do a little yub-dub that Montana wants to splice in, you are more than welcome. We'll do a little 3-second silence. Then,
yum num, yum num, yum num, yum num. Have fun with that. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Chico.
Chico.